Go right ahead. So we have Cynthia here teaching me how to navigate the MLS. Now I'm part of Cynthia Nina Soto Enterprises.
Well, actually, your name is Jennifer Tercero.
Wow, how will you
Right.
know that I woke up as a Jennifer today with my
There you go.
multiple personality disorder?
I just took a wild guess. So this was my old admin's login. I
Mhm.
terminated her, but because I already paid for her to have MLS, I wasn't going to let the MLS know that we terminated her. So when I have a new admin, all I have to do is just change credentials. Okay. So that's who you are. And so your login is different than mine. And the reason why, clearly, so that you can have your own access. Also, the login only allows one person in at a time. So if I am using it and you're trying to access, it's going to kick me out. Okay. So just keep that in mind. It's
Oh, wait
only
a minute.
one
So,
person
like, if you happen to be logging with the same one, right? Because you have a
with the
different
same
one.
one.
But
Correct. With the
you
same
may
one.
have somebody else logging with. Okay, now I understand.
Correct. So that's why I gave you Jennifer's, because no one is using that one. Okay. Like
Mhm.
everybody has their own login. So now you have Jennifer's. And so the first login, the first link that I sent you will bring you directly to this page where you're going to be able to enter your MLS number, which is that C number. Okay. You'll enter CN 253531.
Got
And
it.
then you'll enter the password. Okay, so now you're into the MLS. This is going to be your top screen here. Under hot sheets, what this does is you're able to create essentially quick searches that are already saved, right? So for me, for example, I want to see what's expired, what's going on in my area. And anytime that I click on these, it'll take me directly to that saved search criterion.
Mhm.
So I don't have to keep entering the information. Trying to find one that has a paperclip attached to it so that you can see what that looks like. For any of the properties, let's see if this one has it. For any property that may have an attached document, because this is what you're really looking for. You're looking for properties that may have a file or whatever attached. I'm going to show you what that looks like here. Let's see, right here. You see how I've got a paper clip down here in some of these properties? When I go into view the property, the paper clip comes up here. You see that? Where
Got
you
it.
have all of these icons. If I click on that paper clip, a new window is going to pop up. I have to agree to follow the rules. This is everything that I have attached to this particular listing, okay? They will always download in whatever format it's there, either a Word document, a PDF, an Excel, or a TIFF file, okay? So this is where you're going to find, anything. For example, I have a deed restriction here. It'll open up and download so that I'm able to open that deed restriction accordingly, okay?
Mhm.
Does that make sense? To search, it's going to be a very user-friendly system. You'll just come up here and search and enter whatever information that you may have. If you already have an MLS number, you can enter it here. You can enter multiple MLS numbers by just putting a comma in between. Just a comma, not a space. If you're looking for anything broad in general, like all single families, for example, that are currently available on the market, and you want to see what's available in the city of Salem, not that you would be looking at that, but whatever, right? I can just enter the zip code here, or I can enter the city here, right? So Salem, just double click it, put it in here. You only need to have it in one of two places. If you put it in both places, it's going to give you an error. It doesn't like that. So here you'll enter the city. Up here, it shows you all of the available homes based on your search criteria. So it's telling us we have 9 properties currently, of 9 single families currently available for sale in Salem. I can click here to see the results, or I can click here where it says view results to see that data. And then it's just a simple click on the MLS number to access the actual listing, or you can click on the picture to just bring you directly to the pictures and you can go through. If you click on the address, it's going to open up the Google Maps so that you're able to navigate to that location, okay? This view here, you can customize this view in your tools setting, okay? You can also customize it here by basically deciding I have a photo summary or I can do a one line,
makes sense.
right?
Okay.
I can have multiple views here. Me personally, I prefer the photo summary. You can unclick some of these and you'll see how the data just diminishes, right? I like to see as much information as I possibly can. Okay. You'll always have the listing agent's information and the brokerage that has the listing as well here. But when you enter the file, you'll see more information way at the bottom or throughout the listing. This should look familiar because I handed some of these listing sheets out to you when you were looking for homes. Okay. So you'll have the description, you'll have the basic data here, any information that was entered, any information that's pulled from the public records information is also here. The listing agent, you'll have their information. If you click on their name, you can get more of their contact information and sometimes a picture of what they look like. You can have the market information here. How's market history information, etc. here, and then pictures down below. Okay. Trying to think what else is useful to you. When you're in here, be careful not to change any of my listings. As my admin, you have access as an office manager. So if you come in here and screw around with this, I know where to find you. This information changes like live, right? So if we make any changes here, it'll go to the public. And I think that's it. That's all you're going to need. You won't need any of my contacts, although now you'll be able to see who my clients are, or for the whole company. But again, you'll be living here mostly in your search. The properties that you're typically looking for are already sold properties. So of course you'll just come through and click on sold, right? And you can modify your search here. It usually defaults to today and the past 6 months, but you can extend this in whatever type of category you want. Does that make sense?
This is good.
Trying to think what else today. Okay, let's show you this other email that I sent you. Hold on, because that's the MLS. The MLS PIN is the biggest MLS that's here in Massachusetts. When you had called, give me 1 second. Husband? Todavía no ha llegado. Yeah, todavía no ha llegado. Estoy ahora mismo en una llamada. Let me call you in 5 minutes. Sorry. So the MLS is the biggest MLS that we have here in Massachusetts, but it's not the only MLS that we have. We have the Berkshires, we have Cape in the Islands, and we have Martha's Vineyard. The MLS access that you have only gives you access to MLS PIN. The other MLSs, you're going to access them through the public portal, which is that other email that I sent you. The Cape in the Island and Martha's Vineyard, they use Flex MLS. And so in that other link that I sent you, it's just the public portal. It'll give you a lot of information, but you may have to contact the listing agent to get a download directly from them. And so if I'm in Flex MLS and you're looking for something in Cape Cod in the Islands, okay, CCI MLS, you'll click CCI MLS or you'll click Martha's Vineyard. There, beyond that, it's a very similar search portal as the MLS PIN. Okay, so we'll click on all of you the results and all the properties will come up. Again, if there's anything that's attached to the listing, you'll see it as an attachment. Sometimes agents make attachments only available to MLS PIN members, meaning it's not available to the public. So if that's the case, that's when we need to call that agent to get that information. Okay. The Berkshires is their own standalone MLS, and sometimes you get information in here from New York State as well. So because they're bordering that region, and so it'll be the same exact type of search. You know, this is just a public search MLS, and so you'll be able to pull information from here. So if you have the all of the data, you'll just put it in here like a regular search criteria. You can click on more search options and it'll give you a broader view as well. So the most direct way is to have the MLS number. So in that one that you sent me the other day, when you sent me that screenshot, I could pick up the MLS number. I entered it right in here and all the information pulled up. That's how I was able to send it to you so quickly. If it was not available to the public, I'd have to call that agent and get that information. Does that make sense? All right. In the MLS pin, if you wanted to do any additional training, you could do it over, where did it go? Right here where it says more, training library, you'll be able to get training docs and training videos as well. Again, a lot of it is more directed towards real estate agents and appraisers, but you could access that information here at any time as well. And I will always be available to answer any questions that you may have as well. You are muted.
Yeah, I think this is perfect. This is great. This is great. I'm gonna play with it probably for a little bit, and then I have a Zoom coming up. But this is really, really, really useful. Really useful. I don't know how to pay you back because this is important. Like this saves me time.
Oh yeah.
Cynthia,
Oh
like
yeah.
you know, if the property has that, I'm like, dude, waiting for a client to send me any attachments on the property. Oh, look, I'm gonna do a flip 20 Peter Street in Manchester, and you're like, okay, you know. So because these married to the Patriots property concept allows me to have all this information relatively quickly, so I can just quickly put it together and then just go and do my existing conditions. Like I don't, you know, I can even do a concept without having to measure the property. Like, oh look, let me just move it quickly. So that saves me time.
You're at the mercy of what the listing agent put in here. Okay.
That's true.
I wanna show
but it's also
you
the
one more
history of
thing.
all the agents too. So it's not like
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So let me show you one other thing here. For example, I'm in this property here. It's just 33 Beaver Street in Salem. I showed you the MLS paperclip there. Okay, so that's one thing. The MFS is my flood system. So you'll be able to, it costs money, but you'll be able to have a determination whether or not this property is in a flood zone, and they're able to at times get that flood zone, do a determination if it's actually needed based on an elevation certificate. That's tool number one. Tool number two here is this book here. This book is actually a link to the public record as we see it. So we can see that 33 Beaver, it gives me the map and lot reference. It gives me the owner's address, the zoning that the property is in, and the current use. So remember how you were telling me you were looking for properties that are single families in an R2 or R3 zoning? This is where you verify that. You have a use as a single family, but the property is zoned R2, okay? You can also click up here where it says property history, okay? Or over here where the sundial is located, and you can see all listings that have come up for this property since the beginning of the MLS started tracking. And they're all active links. So I can see here the current listing, list date 3/13/24. I can see an earlier listing 4/26/1996. That one expired, EXP. And then I can see an earlier listing of 5/19/1993, and that property sold for $62,000. I can click on that and I can gather whatever information that agent put in there, including any attachments that they may have included as well. So that's where you get that historical aspect. And then you can compare that, of course, to what Patriot Properties is reporting on their end as well.
Now there's some that don't have Patriots properties. Is there any other option to some other places other than the assessor's website? Because I go to the assessor's
website. Right, the assessor's website. But this here on the MLS, if you see this book here, this book gives you the information that's being reported by the assessor's office. I still call the assessor's office, whether or not it's on Patriot Properties or not, just to verify that the information has not changed since their last update. And I ask when was the last time that they updated to the portal, right? Because it's not like they're updating this every single day. Like if you take a look at 66 Wilson, it still has some very old information there, even though I've been living in the property for over a year now. Okay.
Mhm.
So you have a lot of tools at your disposal here. All the other ones really don't make any sense for you. You don't care about mass housing. You don't care about, property values, anything like that. But that's what all of these little icons
Now, what's that
here
mass
mean.
housing? Hold on. You got my attention.
This is so this, if I just click on the MH, it tells me what resources are available. It's just a link to the mass housing website. So we come here a lot to see if there's any updates for first-time home buyers, which is what the programs are typically for.
Got it. All right,
Okay.
so this is perfect. I don't want to take much more time from you. As I navigate through it and play, I will do things and have questions. I will not mess with the listings. It was just search and downloads. That's all I'm gonna be
Yeah.
doing.
That's
And
all.
it's
Oh,
yeah, yep.
one last thing. I'm sorry. I know I'm remembering these things as we go.
No, that's okay.
When you're doing a search, um, you have a whole bunch of other things. So of course, you've got all of the types of homes here, right? And you've got the different statuses as well. But if you come all the way down here to additional criteria, you can select a whole bunch of different things. So I don't know if you remember, I think it was either you or Pedro when we were doing you guys' search. Sometimes you guys would send me a property and you were like, oh, I wonder where this property is located at, because you couldn't see the address, right? It was like hidden behind a paywall. I
Hmm.
can take the information from there and I can filter it in here and find that property. So for example, there's only one property that has, 5,663 square foot lot and the living space is 1,349. If I put that search in here, it really limits my search, right? And so then I can go and say, okay, that property was in Salem because that's what that was available before the paywall. And so that's where I put my magician's hat. So all I'm trying to say is that under the additional criterias, you have a lot of different filters by which you can search the property. I say this to you because now you can come in here and you can click a criteria of zoning and you can put in here whatever type of zoning it is that you're looking for. So we want all R2 properties in the city or in whatever, in the entire region. All right. So I want all single families on the MLS that are currently active, available for sale, that happen to be in an R2 zoning. There's 182 possible results. Your search is going to cap at a 500. So that's why they want you to limit this. If you go over 500, you might as well just get out of the screen and start all over again because they're not going to like you. But now you can see here, for example, for $50,000, you can buy this single family home in an R2 zoning, currently available for sale. Who wants to do a project in Springfield while living here on the North Shore? Not very many people, but that's a way to do it. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. I like it. I like all of this. I like it. I like it. I like it. So this is really useful, really helpful. I'm gonna just stop recording because I don't want